what that feels like?
So I don't know what it's going to feel like yet to be on Mars, but I am very excited to go out and explore. I really love to immerse myself in new adventures. I think it's going to be super exciting to just, even the journey to Mars, to just experience being in that kind of shuttle rocket, whatever you want to call it, and just have that experience of traveling and kind of building a community. Since we're going to be the first one that's actually going to live there just to live there, I think that's really cool because we all have a part in how we can shape what Mars is going to look like on the longer term, even when we're not living there yet, because we're going to be the first people to actually live there. So that's kind of why I'm super excited.
Okay, so it seems like you want to be the first to get the experience. Is that correct?
I think so, because I think you can do a lot right or a lot wrong. So it's a nice and also weird power to have, but I think it's nice to kind of help to hopefully make it a little bit greener than how we're doing it now on Earth.
Oh, so you're interested in making it greener?
Yeah, so to make it sustainable so that we're not gonna kind of repeat how we're doing it here on Earth, but to make sure that we're gonna start it off on the right foot.
So would it be right to assume that part of your decision to go to Mars is also motivated by what's happening here on Earth?
Yes, for sure. Yeah, that's definitely right, because I think it's important that, well, to me, it's sad that we have to seek out another planet to find a place to live, since we're eliminating places to live on our Earth right now. So I think it's important that when we do go to Mars, that we're not gonna slowly dismantle it as well.
Okay. Well, yes, that is a definite concern, and we do hope that you will be setting the green standard up there. How does your family feel about this?
So my family are not surprised, I'd say, because they know that I love to travel around. I haven't been living home since I was 17. Yes, I think that, yeah, 17. So they are not a stranger of me living at home. Now I'm in San Francisco, which is kind of the other side of the world for the Netherlands, where I'm originally from. I've also lived in China, so they also know a bit. With the time difference, we don't communicate that often in real life because it's just difficult. I think the only difficulty is that you will really have no means to actually communicate in real time, whereas now you can still find a time and place where you can FaceTime or Skype or whatever. That won't really be possible on Mars.
Yes, we're definitely going to ensure that you have the communications to keep in touch with your family. And hearing you say that you've been independent and you've not been living at home for the last 17 years, does that mean that you're someone who likes to have their own space, or do you like to constantly be around roommates?
I definitely like my own space. I've been living with roommates as well. But I love my own space. I am very talkative and I like to be involved with everyone and everything. But at the end of the day, I need kind of my own space to recharge. So I like to be alone and just stuff around the house if I want to, or be very tidy if I want to.
Okay, so it sounds like you need your space at the end of the day to kind of do what you want and kind of get away from everybody else. Is that correct?
Yes, that's definitely correct.
Okay, would you mind maybe just describing a bit of your daily routine that you have here on Earth so we can get an idea of maybe perhaps what we can provide for you on Mars?
Of course, yeah. So right now my daily routine is like, I'm in the MDI classes, so I wake up around 7. I have my classes, then I typically do a little bit of work. I also have my own startup, so I work a little bit on that as well. Then every other day I go to the gym, which is a new habit. I don't know if I love it yet, but I definitely like to do something active. after that, I make myself lunch. I love to cook, so it's really important for me to have the space to kind of experiment a little bit with cooking and have the space to make a mess and clean it up later. And yeah, then usually I hang out with some friends. I have them over here or I go there. I go out for dinner or I make dinner here for a bunch of people. And after that, I truly, truly enjoy sitting on the couch and watching a series or a movie.
Okay. So it sounds like you need a really good separation of space, different areas where you can carry out different activities. Is that correct? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And actually, looking at some of the information you gave us, I'm really sorry to hear about your pet. I was wondering if you would like to have some company on Mars. Would you like to bring a new rabbit with you?
So actually, yeah. So I had a bunny. My parents now have a dog, so I come to visit often because I want to see the dog. And I'm actually also thinking of having a bunny right here in San Francisco. So I would definitely love to have some kind of companionship and like it has to be like kind of a fluffy animal so you can cuddle with. I love that. And yeah, because I like to be alone, but I don't like to be alone, if it makes sense.
Yes, that does make sense. Yeah, I mean, we are social animals after all, so we do need a little bit of companionship.
Exactly.
So you said a bunny. Is there anything else you would be interested in, or is that your preferred animal of choice?
I love dogs, so dogs is also definitely a good choice. With dogs, I would like a dog that doesn't shed. My current dog, the dog that my parents have, it doesn't shed because my dad is allergic. So it's very convenient because it can just go everywhere and not leave the house one big hairy place. So I love. So I grew up in a kind of a farm setting. So my sister used to have sheep, and we would go and help the sheep get the lambs and everything. So I kind of love every kind of animal, I'd say. I love horses, I love little goats, I love cows. My neighbors had cows, my neighbors had pigs. So I'm familiar with all kinds of animals, but I would love for me to have an animal that can actually be in the house, which would be either a dog, a bunny, or a piglet. I think that would be very cool too.
That's so
So
cool.
I hear that. I'm sorry, Sandra.
No, don't worry. Because I was gonna ask you more about. You mentioned that you spend a lot of time working out, doing activities. So maybe you can tell us more about that. Do you dance, exercise? Where do you usually do that? At what time or where?
Yeah, of course. So right now I'm just going to the gym. So I'm really doing just core and cardio and running and biking and all that. But back in London, I did the salsa classes. I've done pole dancing. I've really done all sorts of activities. I've done field hockey for 12 years. Really enjoyed that. Played tennis. I played golf. I did gymnastics. So honestly, there's very little you can go wrong with. I really dislike actual biking, which is kind of funny because I'm Dutch and it's supposed to be a Dutch thing, but I really don't like it that much. And I don't really enjoy running. Other than that, I'm very open to any kind of sports.
Even of that, you seem that
prefer...
you are a very active person. No, I was gonna say, even of that, it seems that you are a very active person. So how did you handle the quarantine at that time?
Yeah, so quarantine was kind of difficult. So then I kind of had myself to make myself go and run, more so because my current boyfriend is a very strong runner. So he's like, okay, let me take you on and we go for runs. I think that lasted for a week or two. And then I was like, you know, I hate biking a little less than running, so I'll bike next to you. But yeah, it was not the best alternative for me.
Okay, well, going back to what you said about growing up on a farm and your background, you said you love animals. Um, do you think while you are on Mars, you would be interested in helping out in terms of growing the food and working on some of the farming? Do you think that would be something of interest to you to do while as a job while you are on Mars?
I think so, because from what I understand, there are 3 different kinds of jobs, and one is the more lab tech side, and I don't think I'm that good at that. And I think the growing of food and the greener side is more interesting to me, because you can actually see something grow, which I find fascinating. So I think that'd be a good fit, yes.
Okay, well, yeah, that's what it sounds like. It sounds like you would want to be in the food and look at kind of what's happening over there and what's coming onto your plate.
Yes, for sure.
I just want to go back to something that you mentioned about your family. Because, you know, when you're on Mars, you might be a little isolated. So I feel like, you know, having the experience where you've been traveling a lot and you don't communicate with your family regularly, has built up a lot of resilience in you. But I feel like once you're up there, you might want to rely on them a little bit more. What is your preferred method of communication with your family?
Typically, I actually send them like loads of pictures because I love to take pictures. So usually I just spam them with like 15 pictures at a time. And then I just wait for them to respond. And then I write typically like this big of a message, more or less, with just what's going on in my life. And then they typically respond with a message back, or when they're in a hurry, they're just like, okay, so cool, Teddy. And then I'm a little disappointed. But most times they interact kind of in the same way, and that works pretty well, actually. I also have other family members that I stay in contact with, like my godparents, and I really usually send them pictures and a long message of how I'm doing, and then they can even respond 1 or 2 weeks later with a message on how they're doing, and then that goes back and forth like that. So I really don't mind that it takes longer. I just really want to be able to keep in touch with people.
Okay, well, that's really good to hear that you're okay with having a little bit of time in between communications, because I think that will be the case between Earth and Mars.
Yeah.
Sounds like you prefer written communication as opposed to verbal communication, which I think would definitely lend a lot better to the setting that you're going to be in. It's going to be much easier for you to get a written word out down to earth as opposed to a verbal message, just in terms of frequency. And I just wanted to kind of clarify, Sandra asked you about coronavirus and about the lockdown. Did your communication with your family or anything change during this time?
So I actually went back to the Netherlands with my boyfriend as well. And we lived with my parents for 6 months. And we all came to the mutual agreement that the time of us living together as a family was really more for when I was younger, because now you just have such a different pace of life, and in terms of everything, like how you shift your life, when you want to eat, what you're doing during the day, because we had classes on weird moments because I was in a different time zone with my classes. So your life is just different. So I lived with my parents, which was nice, so I could see them a little bit more, but we're definitely not on the same pace of life anymore. So it was nice to be there at the time, but it was also good to go to San Francisco.
Okay.
Does that answer your question a little bit?
Yeah, it does. So it sounds like it was nice for you to have the time during the coronavirus to kind of connect with your family, but at the same time, it was good for that time to end and get away, and then for you to get back to do your own thing.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so it sounds like you really do value your independence, which is great for us to hear. And just some little random questions in terms of what you prefer in your living environment, because we're going to be designing this for you. We sort of came up with a proposed house structure, but I just want to ask you, how do you prefer your living space to look like? Like, do you like to have a living dining together? Do you like to have it separate? Would you want your bedroom to be away from the living dining?
All right. So I would definitely like the kitchen and living room to be an open space plan. I would love an island. I have an island here in San Francisco. It's actually why I chose this apartment, that and the walk-in closet. So that is important for me. I would very much like to have my bedroom not on the same floor or together with the living area. So I would really like my own, I feel like the dining and the kitchen should be a place where people can come. And I feel like the bedroom, I mean, people can see my bedroom, but it was more private, I'd say. So I would want that away from the rest. I would like to have my bedroom and my bathroom on the same or around the same area. So it is easy to go in and out. That would be very nice.
Okay.
And a lot of closet space.
Okay, definitely. I wrote down walk-in closet. Don't worry, we got you. So
Good,
we were
good.
thinking the way the structure is designed, actually the second floor is the largest floor. So we were thinking maybe giving you the second floor as your kitchen and living room with your open space, and that being like kind of space for you to interact with others as well. And then we propose having the sort of the lab and that kind of stuff on the first floor. And then we propose having your bedroom and bathroom actually right at the top on the 4th level. And the 3rd level, which is a little bit bigger, we would propose to give you a little bit of an entertainment room. And now we're going to discuss kind of what your requirements are for that, what kind of a space you would want to have that's separate from your bedroom, kind of like a 3rd space that's yours.
Okay. I would definitely say it would be nice to have a place to kind of have a desk, kind of a study of thing. I think that would be nice. I think it would be nice.
I'm sorry?
Oh, go ahead.
No, please continue.
It would be nice to have somewhere where I could dance or do any sort of activity. I think that'd be nice.
Yeah, we were actually talking about that. Since you like, dancing and singing, we were thinking about creating like a little virtual kind of photo booth studio for you to step into, so that you could kind of have a virtual kind of dance experience. Because you mentioned before that you like to take pole dancing classes and you're taking salsa dancing classes before. Those are generally like, group activities. So you would probably want to do that in like a virtual environment with some human interaction, or would you want to do that by yourself?
No, I think that's definitely a good idea to have that with human interaction. Yeah, that would be very cool. And definitely if you can pair it with singing in some kind of, I don't know, karaoke type of thing or something like that, I think that'd be very cool.
Would you like to have windows? Like, do you like to see outside, or do you prefer like a more closed environment, or do you prefer
as many windows and light options as possible? I honestly don't really know how much light you get on Mars, but I do like it when I get energized from light. So I like it a lot when I can see the day, and and I love looking at neighbors and just having a view at anything. So yeah, for sure.
Right. And would you prefer stairs or an elevator to get to each floor?
Oh, I think stairs is fine, actually. Yeah.
And also, maybe would you like to have an area to watch the series, like a movie theater, maybe beside the dance studio or the dance room? What do
I
you
think
think
I
about it?
prefer to watch my shows in the living room kitchen area, so I can easily go for a snack. I can easily kind of go back and forth. I think that would be fine, and I like people to be able to enjoy like a very comfy couch when they come over at my place, or very comfy sitting, because I don't want it to be super formal. I want people to be able to enjoy. If they come to my place, I feel at home, so that is important. And then for me, what makes it for me enjoyable to watch is definitely a blanket.
Great.
So just going back to what you said about whether you prefer stairs or an elevator. I was just wondering, just based on the logistical requirements, it might be a good idea to have one elevator between the first floor and the second floor just to move larger items. Do you think this would be a good idea, or do you feel like, no, you just want to carry everything?
So what would I'm sorry to ask, what would the first floor be for?
The first floor would be the lab and like the wet room and everything, all the equipment.
Because from what I understood is that where I'm going to work is going to be different than where I'm going to live. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, so you would be working on the first floor, which is like where the food, where like all that kind of mechanical stuff happens. And then the second floor would be like your living space. The third floor would be your entertainment space. And the fourth floor would be your bedroom.
Okay, because I thought that where I was going to work was like a different pod, but it's not then.
Or maybe this is a proposal. So do you have any other thing in mind? Like this is a proposal that we thought with the assumption that you have saying us, but maybe do you have another proposal for the structure? Do you think it's a good idea, or maybe do we need to adapt some of these structure?
No, so if I'm going to work in the same places where I live, then I think the lowest floor should definitely be the floor that I work. But then I would really like to have a separate entry with a stairs to the second floor, because then I don't want people who come to have dinner with me to be able to go through the lab and accidentally hit something over or something like that. So I would really want it to be separate.
Great.
And just in terms of what you're like, you said you like things to be really comfortable, a lot of blankets. Are you a light sleeper or heavy sleeper?
Super heavy.
Okay.
You cannot wake me up for anything. If I'm down, I'm down.
Okay. And is there something in terms of technology that you rely on a day-to-day basis that you feel like would be super essential? Do you have a particular like fitness equipment or a particular appliance that you use to make your coffee, or something that you're really that you use every day, kind of thing, that you're very attached to?
Actually, a rice cooker would be nice. I don't think I use any other appliance if I'm thinking, I mean, a fridge and stuff, but not anything else.
I mean, of course, fridge and everything would be standard, like sink, but I'm talking about something that you personally use every day that is part of your daily routine.
No, I really just use of course, my phone and my laptop every day, but rice cooker, I think every other day.
Okay. Sandra, do you have any other questions that you would like to ask?
Well, in general, I think that in my case, I clear. Maybe like, I know that you were living with your parents during quarantine, but how did you handle that all of you were isolated what are the activities or what are the places that you spend most of the times in the day?
So I actually spend most of my time in the garden, and we did have kind of a separation because I had like my own floor together with my boyfriend. So we spent a lot of time up there as well. That was also because we had work to do for the electives, but I did spend a lot of time up there. I did a lot of puzzles, really enjoy puzzling too. Let me think. I spend a lot of time in the kitchen. And yeah, that's actually where you could find me, and then on the couch.
And your time in the garden, what do you do? Do you like to actually garden and plant things and grow?
I've actually never really done that. My
But you
parents
just
won't
like
let me
plants.
touch the garden. They don't have faith in me.
Okay,
So
so maybe in a little corner of the living room, we can have a little corner of plants for you, just to make you feel like there's a little garden there.
yeah, maybe those kind of almost like a mini greenhouse. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that? I always thought it so cool, but I don't, yeah.
Okay, well, we'll be sure to provide a mini greenhouse so that you can think about your garden at home with your family.
Cool, that's cool. Yeah.
I just wanted to ask you a few other things in terms of communication. You're going to be there with other people. Maybe they're not your best friends. Maybe your best friends aren't there. I was just wondering, in terms of your communication style, how do you prefer to deal with conflicts?
Oh, I am actually very, I would say Dutch in this aspect, because I'm very straightforward. So if I have a conflict with someone, I usually am the person that's gonna say, okay, let's sit down and what is going on, because I really hate it when people are being like the kind of passive aggressive mode. So I would say like, okay, this is not what it's about, so let's talk. When I am kind of mad, on the other hand, I tend to be very on the back, and I don't really say that much because I'm not a person who likes to fight. But if something really gets to my heart, then I can be very emotional about it. But I think in general, I am quite, I don't like conflict, so I always will want to work it out, and I want always everyone to be happy and everything, and I'm very sensitive to that. So if someone is not happy or someone is feeling outcasted, I will always try to go for that person and make them feel included, as opposed to being with the rest of the group and just enjoy that. I can't really enjoy being with the rest of the group if someone doesn't feel at home.
Sounds like you're a very empathetic person, and this might cause you a bit of stress while you're in a new environment. So I'm just wondering, in terms of stress management, how do you now deal with stress? And especially during the quarantine period, how did you deal with stress?
I think I deal with stress by doing things that I really like. And something that really gets my mind to things is singing or puzzling or watching a series, I think. So it's
so the karaoke is very crucial to your de-stressing as well.
Yes. I'm gonna be very angry without my songs.
Okay, so you need really good speakers. I'll make a note of that.
Yes.
Okay,
I want to have most complaints from my fellow pods. I'm just kidding.
Sandra, do you have anything further that you would like to ask about the environment?
No, I'm okay. I don't know if, like, so far, Teddy, are you okay with the idea we have about the rooms that are going to be on each floor? Or maybe do you have in mind something else that we are missing?
No, I don't think so. I think for me, what is also important is the bathroom. I think it would be nice to have, so I like either one of these two. I would either like just a big shower or a shower and a bath, but then separate, not the combination thing.
Uh-huh.
That would be nice.
Would you like to have more than one bathroom? Maybe one in your bedroom and one for the living room for your friends?
Oh, this is actually a good question. I would very much like a separate toilet.
Okay, great. Great.
So just to clarify, you'll be having your personal bathroom on the 4th floor. That's just your own with your bedroom, as you just requested. And then we'll put another toilet on the 2nd floor where you entertain people and you have your kitchen and your living in space and so forth.
Perfect. And it is important there that there is like a small sink or faucet, I don't know what you call it, in the toilet as well, so that people don't have to go to the toilet and then go to the kitchen to wash their hands. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you want a full half bath.
Yes. I don't know if this is all gonna fit in the space, but yes, ideally this is all the things that would be nice.
Do you have in mind that do you want one specific room will be the bigger one in the house? For instance, the kitchen maybe with the living room, or do you prefer maybe to have the biggest bedroom, like, or to, I don't know.
No, I think the living room and the kitchen
should be the bigger.
Yeah.
And just one last question, in terms of for the living room, do you like to, you mentioned that of course you would like to have a study and so forth, but in terms of reading, do you like to read? Do you like to have like a area to read, or do you mind, are you okay to just sit on the sofa or anywhere and just read a book?
Yeah, I don't think I want a designated reading area. I like to read from time to time, but I wouldn't say I'm like a reader. So for me, that's not the most important. For me, if the couch is comfortable, I can live on the couch basically. So yeah, that I can do everything on there.
Okay, got it. Okay, I think that's all the questions that we have for you right now in terms of designing your environment. Is there anything else in particular that you can just think of that you kind of touch, feel, interact with right now on a daily basis that you might miss when you go to Mars? I mean, apart from your boyfriend.
Let me think. What do I? It's a difficult question. Let me think for a second.
Sure. No, take your time. Just like if there's any particular type of light you like. Do you like yellow light or white light?
Definitely
Or
yellow.
Okay.
It's important to me that there is small lights when I watch TV and not the big light on, but I hate it when people have the big light off and then no other light. That to me is terrible, but I love it when there's like small lights to kind of set the setting.
Yeah, small lamps all around.
The only thing I can really think of is that I have like this animal that I literally bring everywhere with me already since I was like 16 or something. It's like a pillow, but a stuffed animal. And it was just been always very convenient for me because I traveled so much. And I now just take it everywhere with me as well when I go and live somewhere else. I mean, so if I could bring that, that would be cool.
Does your pillow toy have a name?
No, actually. So I've never actually named any of my stuffed animals ever when I was a kid.
Okay. Okay, well, we'll be sure to make sure there's enough room in your luggage for your pillow toy.
Great. But it is an elephant shape thing, more or less.
Ah, okay.
Is there anything else?
So if there's no questions from anyone else in the team, I would just like to open it up for G, Shukra, Giselle, if they have any final questions. Otherwise, Sandra and I are okay. Okay, well, Teddy, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate you being a
Of course.
volunteer for us.
Of course,
Thank you.
no problem at all.
Yeah, thank you
I'm
so
looking
much.
forward. Yeah,
Okay,
thank
take
you.
care.
Good
Bye-bye.
luck.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Guys, don't leave.
Oh, of course, we have a lot of work. Actually, very open, right? To share all the information. Yeah. It was good, Nasning.
Yeah,
Yeah?
I mean,
Really good, yeah.
just positive.